other themes and other topics, like tomorrow night, since it's the night of the birth of Imam Hassan, salawatullah salamu alayhi, we have to focus on the birth, on the life of Imam Hassan, his social policy, his political philosophy, his imama, etc. And as we get close to the night of the 21st, then naturally the theme will be the life of Amir al-Mu'mineen, salawatullah salamu alayhi. And the 23rd, we focus purely on the night of power. What does it mean? Why should it be so special? What happens during the night of power? How do the angels come down? To whom they come down, etc. But tonight is kind of an introduction to the theme that I will be discussing in future nights by focusing on the concept of Quran itself. But a brief recap of last night's theme, which was primarily centered on sabr and patience. I stated that patience is a unique character of the believers, and it emanates or comes from the tawakkul or trust that we have in Allah to guide us through the challenges and the difficulties and calamities that we see in our life. Because as I said last night, life is technically a roller coaster. It's up and down. We see calamities and we see good times and bad times. How do we stand steadfast? It primarily comes from the concept of sabr and patience. I recited a hadith from the Holy Prophet in which the Holy Prophet said, sabr and patience is divided into three different groups, three different categories. الصبر عند المصيبة، الصبر على الطاعة، والصبر عند المعصية. The first class of patience is when you are confronted by calamities in life, and how do you respond to these calamities? The patient ones deal with these calamities differently from those who are not patient. Technically, calamities in life for the true believer, they do not break them down. As the hadith from Imam Muhammad al-Baqir said, that our Shias are in three different groups. There are those who pay lip service to our principles, and there are those who are like glass, clear, but the first confrontation with calamities and difficulties, they break. And there are others like gold, very few. You dip them into fire and you take them out, they come out shining better. So as-sabr ala ta'a means you patience when shaitan is telling you not to do to submit to the command of Allah. So you you persevere and you insist against shaitan that I'm going to do it. Was-sabr ala al-ma'siyah is when you are confronted by temptations in life that you resist. And I gave a number of examples in the Holy Quran from the life of the prophets, whether it is Ayub, Job, Musa, Yaqub and his children, Yusuf himself, etc., etc. These are various. Luqman that teaches his child to be patient. Wasbir ala ma asabak. When you are confronted by calamities in life, you should be patient. These are something that we talked about last night. Tonight, I want to begin paying attention to a number of issues which are related to the Holy Quran. Despite the fact that Holy Quran as a central book is shared between all schools of thoughts within Islam, but there are differences between the two major schools, the Shia as well as the Sunnis, regarding some of these issues. Now, we start with the first thing that we disagree is the time of revelation. exactly when it was revealed. Because we claim that Mab'ath is on the 27th of Rajab. And if 27th of Rajab is the time of the proclamation of the Holy Prophet, and we all know the proclamation of the Holy Prophet started by the first five ayat from Surah Iqra, when he was in the cave and Jibreel came, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. The Sunni scholars say no, because there are other verses in the Holy Quran, such as the one that I recited, Surah Dukhan, verse 1 to 3. It says that we reveal that in a night which is glorified. And this is why they call the 27th of Ramadan to be the night of Qadr rather than anything else, because they claim this is the night that Quran was revealed. So the first difference, the scholars, Shia scholars from Ahlul Bayt, they narrate a hadith that they said the Quran has two types of revelation. A collective revelation on the heart of the Holy Prophet that came in one of the nights of power. And yet, at the same time, we are familiar that over 23 years period, the Quran gradually and sequentially was revealed. So there are two types of revelation. By this assertion, we agree that there is one revelation, a complete revelation on the heart of the Holy Prophet, and there is a successful revelation that came over 23 years. The Holy Quran for Muslims is considered to be the verbatim word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever you read, we believe that these are the words, exact words, that Angel Jibreel brought to the Holy Prophet. No change. Revealed during the 23 years period of the prophetic mission by Jibreel. For Muslims, the language of Quran, every word and letter in the Quran, it sounds when it is recited, and the text all are sacred. This is why when somebody burns Quran, it is a huge infringement on the fundamental principles that we have. The oral revelation in Arabic, which Jibreel brought it down, heard first by the Holy Prophet. So he listened. Then, according to us, why I say according to us, because there is a difference of opinion as exactly at the time of compilation, who put all these verses and chapters together. We believe that under the guidance of the Holy Prophet, compiled the Quran as it is today in the same order, starting with Surah Al-Fatiha and finishing with Surah Al-Nas, 114 chapters, over 6,200 and so ayat. And the position of the verses and the ayat and the passages are divinely commanded. Recently, we are beginning to see a number of Sunni scholars coming and begin to write about nazm and order in the Holy Quran. Once they began writing about it, they realized either they have to accept the Shia understanding of the compilation, that everything that we have is divinely revealed and Allah and the Holy Prophet put them together. Otherwise, if you move one ayah from one surah, nazm and order that exists between the entire Quran will break apart. So now we're beginning to come a nazm and order in the Holy Quran. It's becoming in the Quranic studies a theme that we have a number of articles written about it. Quran calls itself by many names. Al-Kitab, the book. Al-Furqan, the criteria. Al-Huda, the guide. Most commonly, Quran is known, the word Quran is being used, which means recitation, qara'. In the same way that the Christians refer to their book as the Holy Bible, Muslims refer to the sacred book as Quran al-Majid, the glorious Quran, Al-Quran Al-Kareem, the noble Quran, and few other names. For Muslims, all Muslims, Shia and Sunnis, Quran is the central divine revelation that constitute the essence of the religion. You play around with the Quran, your religion falls apart. Even in the juristical field, where the scholars have to go and search for the law within Islam, from a Shia point of view, and as well as the Sunni point of view, number one source of reference is the book, Quran. We may differ as far as what is Sunnah. The Sunnah for the Sunni community primarily restricted to what the Holy Prophet did. For the Shia community, based on the infallibility that exists in the Holy Prophet and extended to Ahlul Bayt, the Sunnah has a much larger scope, and that covers the behavior and the acceptance of the Ahlul Bayt as well. We believe that each and every word in this book is a divine revelation. And the order of the compilation also is a divinely commanded. Its compilation, according to us, and I keep saying according to us because I'm moving in a minute to the differences. The compilation, according to us, according to a hadith that we have, was completed during the life of the Holy Prophet. إني تارك فيكم الثقلين كتاب الله وعترتي. If there was no book written compiled during the life of the Holy Prophet, as some Sunni scholars claim that it was scattered in papyrus, leathers, and books, and stones, and so on, what was the Holy Prophet referring to? That I'm leaving within you the book and my attribute. And we have a number of hadith that to support our agreement. According to all Muslims, and I explain it in a minute, if you are searching for a divine book presently, there are no other divine books but the Quran. Why? As far as the four books which is currently known as the New Testament, this is what, since I spent at least 2 years within these schools, we still don't know who were the authors of these books. The name that are given to these books as Mark, Matthew, John, Luke, this is something that Christians did it in the 2nd century. But the original compilers and writers of this book is anonymous. We still don't know who they are. Not only that, the language that was revealed or written, we still don't know what it was. Was it Hebrew because Jesus came out of the Hebrew culture? Was it Aramaic because of the environment? Was it Greek because the Greek influence in the region? What was it? They don't know. They say that these books were written and ultimately came in the hand of various Christian communities up to the end and possibly the first beginning of the 2nd century. There were at least over 40 different gospels between various Christian communities, each one claiming that this is the book that came in our hand from one of the disciples. None of the authors, assuming that there were some characters about Mark, Matthew, John, and Luke, none of these were witnesses to the life of the Holy Prophet Jesus. At least the oldest book within this four gospel started between 50 to 60 years after, according to them, the crucifixion of Jesus. So what we have as the New Testament or the Bible is technically similar to books of ahadith in our tradition. Somebody started 30 years later, 50 years later, writing about the life of the Holy Prophet. That's exactly what happened in these books. When you stand in debate with them, the best that they can claim, they agree that there is no revelation. The best that they can claim is that they were divinely inspired. No more than that. If you go back to the brother in South Africa, Didan, I believe, Ahmed Didan, which became famous before his death for constant debate with the Christians, this is one of the arguments that he had against them. That these were literally constructed books and that you pretend to be inspiration that has nothing to do with the original revelation that came to Jesus. One of the book, according to historians, the Gospel of Barnabas, that we still don't have an exact copy. They say the exact copy exists in Vatican's library, that nobody has access to it. But somehow few copies became known and people are reading it. It's called the Gospel of Barnabas. They say this is the closest that we can come to what we call Injil, the original Injil that was revealed to Prophet Isa. So what we have to wash our hand of these books as revealed book, as Injil that Quran talks about. This is not the same. As for the Pentateuch, which are the 5 books of what Jewish community claims to be, it's call it an Old Testament, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. These books are the outcome, and I quote exactly scholars of what we call Torah studies. These books are the outcome of a process that involved multiple authors, and over an extended period of time, none of these books are written by Prophet Musa, and none of these books are a copy of those tablets that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on Mount Sinai gave to Prophet Musa. Now, out of the 3 Abrahamic faith, what happened to the original, according to the historians, the tablets that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave to Prophet Musa was first when Bukht nasr came to Baytul Muqaddas, was destroyed to Jerusalem, and whatever was left over in the second, when the Greek came and set fire to the temple, the whole thing was lost. The Jewish rabbis and scholars began to put something together, which what we have here over many years. Some people say it started from literally 50, 60 after crucifixion and stayed to 200 years. We're still debating about the context of these 5 books. So they are not revelation. It has nothing to do with Prophet Musa. While the Jewish, again, this is the expression that they use. While the Jewish tradition holds all 5 books were originally written by Moses, leading scholars have rejected this since the 17th century. These books have nothing to do with the tablets given to Prophet Musa on Mount Sinai, because they were completely destroyed. So out of the 3 books, the book that no one can doubt of its authenticity, you can pick up a book from here and you can trace it back to the original. Although they try these days, various scholars and Orientalists, to doubt whether it's the same book or not, but we can trace it back through various copies that we have. So the first thing, I have already mentioned that there is a debate between Shias and Sunni regarding exactly when it was revealed. We believe that there were 2 revelations, one holistic and one gradual. The first critical step, that it has huge ramification about the validity of this book, is who compiled it. If we are not paying attention to it, the approach, the Sunni approach, various hadith that they have regard to answer this question: how did the Holy Prophet compile the book, or was the book compiled during the life of one of the Khulafa that came after? Some people say Abu Bakr, some people say Omar, some people say Uthman. If we move any slight move from the belief that the Holy Prophet left the book complete in his life, to an area, whether it's the first Khalif, second Khalif, or third Khalif, you are opening up the can of worm, and everybody will question whether the book here was the same book that was written during the life of the Holy Prophet or revealed to the Holy Prophet. Particularly when you read the story, the concept of tahrif, alteration, and taghyir, change, comes in. If, according to the dominant narrative, because a number of Huffaz al-Quran, these are Quran, individuals that they were somehow had learned the Quran by heart. They began to die in various battles, so it became the source of concern for Abu Bakr and few others. And they said, well, we need to do something about it. We need to put the Quran together, because if more of Huffaz and people who learned Quran by heart, if they die, there is a question mark on the even part of Quran that they have learned. Particularly in the Battle of Yamama, which is the battle with Musaylama al-Kadhab, claimed to be prophet. So there are, the best book here that you can read is Al-Bayan fi Tafsir al-Quran, written by Marhum Ayatollah Khoyi. It's been translated into English and is available on alislam.org. You just go over there, Al-Bayan, the book comes out. Marhum Khoyi spends huge amount of time looking at all of these ahadith that Sunni scholars have regarding the compilation and the contradiction that exists between them. Particularly, he focuses on few. At the moment, if you go online, the first thing that the Shias are accused of, Shias have a different book, and they claim that this the Quran that we have has been fabricated or altered or changed. As a matter of fact, it's the Sahih that are full of ahadith regarding the alteration and the change within the Quran, not us. All the ahadith that we have clear from our Imam says that this is the book, no change. But you go and see few of the hadith that we have from al-Mu'mineen Aisha and few others that clearly states that there were changes. قالت, this is one of the ahadith, لقد نزلت آية الرجم ورضاعة الكبير عشرا ولقد كان في صحيفة تحت سريري فلما مات رسول الله ونشأ تشاغلنا بموته دخل داجن فأكلها. Do you understand what he says? That regarding some of these verses of the Holy Quran, they were written on pieces of papers or something, and it was under my pillow or my lahaf. Some dajin, now however you want to, whether you want to goat or something, or even call it a chicken or a duck, anything with al-Mu'mineen Aisha. So they came in while we were busy with burial of the Holy Prophet. It came in and ate these, and here goes half of the surah, because those ayat no longer there. Another hadith, كانت سورة الأحزاب, the verse chapter on Ahzab, تقرأ في زمن النبي مائتي آية. There were 200 verses within the chapter. فلما كتب عثمان المصاحف لم يقدر منها إلا على ما هو على. If you go to Holy Quran, Surah Al-Ahzab is only 73 ayah. al-Mu'mineen Aisha says during the Holy Prophet there were 200 ayahs in this chapter. What happened to the rest? Now imagine, if this doubt, question mark, on the validity of Quran, on the authenticity of Quran is established, you are opening a whole can of worm that ultimately not only undermines Quran, because of the significance of Quran, undermines Islam as well. So how did they do it? Just look at the process. The claim maintains that fearing that Quran would be lost, Abu Bakr commanded Umar and Zayd ibn Thabit to collect the Quran from all sources, to go around literally in Medina and ask people, do you have a part of Quran? Do you remember anything about Quran? Any pieces of Quran in your hand? Provided two witnesses would testify that what is being reported was part of the Quran. Just imagine that this exists, and then they attack the Shia community because they have a different book. So Omar and Zayd ibn Thabit would go and stand in front of the mosque in Medina. Anybody who walked in, do you remember whether you had anything to do with Quran? Yes or no? Do you have two witnesses? Yes or no? If not, leave it. If yes, bring that piece. Stones, leathers, papyrus, what we call leaves of trees, whatever it was that was written, they totally forget about one of the most fundamental steps that the Holy Prophet took during his life, and that was the presence of at least 6 or 7 scribes. Every time a revelation came, there were, on those days, very few people that could write. So the Holy Prophet had brought 6, 7, some people say 10 of these individuals that they could write. They sit in front of him. He would recite the verse as he had learned it from Prophet Jibreel. They would write it down. Then they have to recite it back to him to make sure that there is no change, no alteration, no nothing else. Once it's done, the Holy Prophet later on, he would come across another verse. He would tell them, go back to chapter so and so and put this in the middle of these two ayahs. Totally forgetting about this, the steps that the Holy Prophet took to protect the Quran, because he was aware of the previous revelations, Injil, Torah, and everybody else, and how it was destroyed. Now we are reducing the whole thing down into standing in front of a mosque and saying, do you remember anything from the Quran? Do you have two witnesses? Bring those two witnesses, and then we will take all this and put them under the Quran. If that's the case, who organized this, the book as it is? If Abu Bakr did it, then certainly we cannot claim that there is an order, because the whole thing was chaotic. Put all of these together. When we claim that the Holy Prophet, through divine command, put everything in the order that Allah wanted it, then we can logically go back and say, if Allah is talking to us, there must be an order through the entire book. But if Abu Bakr, Umar, Zayd ibn Thabit, or Uthman, or somebody else, hurriedly they put these together because they want to save the book, where is the order? It should be chaotic. The claim undermines the essence of Quran as a living and complete miracle. But yet, everybody accepts it. Because the mere assertion that the Quran was scattered opens the door for alteration and tahrif. Why? We don't even want to accuse anyone. What about within the process? If there were part of the Quran that two witnesses were not available, if you have already made sure that provided the two witnesses are there, it will accept them, then you have left part of the Quran because there were no two witnesses. Might have been part of the Quran that either lost or the two witnesses could not be found. This is not fanciful idea. When you go back to the Al-Bayan, when the Ayatollah Khoy, rahmatullah alayh, picks up all these ahadith from Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, and a number of others. I think, if I remember correctly, nearly 30 or close to 30 hadith, picks them up, all of them underscoring the fact that there were part of the Quran missing. Or there was a surah from al-Mu'mineen Aisha, there was a surah bigger than Surah Al-Baqarah. We used to recite it during the life of the Holy Prophet. It's no longer there. So this is something, whether it is Ayatul Rajm. كانت سورة الأحزاب تقرأ في زمن رسول الله ما أتي آية. 200 verses. And now we have 73. That's a clear indication that Quran is gone. So inshallah, we will continue with this theme, various aspects of the Holy Quran as we get closer. Tomorrow night, I'll focus on the significance of the life of Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba alayhi salatu wassalam. But then we go back the night after to the Quran, various other aspects. This compilation of the Holy Quran is a critical issue. Learn it, because you are constantly going to be bombarded by the Wahhabis and others, that Shias are the one that they say that there is a tahrif, alteration in the Holy Quran, and this Quran is not the original. As we have asked everyone before, please, the pictures that are coming out of Gaza and Palestine is desperate. Keep the Palestinian brothers and sisters in your prayers, and think about ways of helping them in any shape or form that you can. If you can send medicine, send medicine. If you can send money, there are organizations that would take money. Now we have students. Cuban government gives a scholarship to students from Palestine, both West Bank and Gaza. Over 45 Palestinian students from Gaza that they have been stranded in Cuba, in Havana. The government pays for their education, but there are no sustenance. They have to pay for themselves. The parents are unable to send anything. This is one project. There are other projects of people needing medications. Find it. Find these organizations that they are dedicated to the support of the Palestinians. Please help. Sitting down and saying, "Oh Lord, help them," is not going to be enough. They need practical help from anyone. Since at the moment, the Shia is the only group that are supporting the Palestinians. Even Sheikh of Azhar, in a lecture that he gave, that he was chased out of the university by the students, called people of Gaza Khawarij. So we are the only one. And we are the one that not only supporting them financially, militarily, and everything else, we over here should think of genuine way of providing support. May Allah protect you all and bless you all and accept your du'as. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.